Hello and welcome. You're watching To The Point. Is an apology for foul, abusive language at a public rally by a minister sufficient to end the matter? Should she resign or be sacked? Should the police file an FIR for promoting enmity? Those are the key questions we should discuss in part 2 when we debate the appalling language used by Sadhvi Niranjan Jyoti at a rally last night. But first, the charge leveled by the Congress party against the Modi government is that it's a U-turn Sarkar. Yesterday, the Congress released a booklet claiming Mr. Modi's government is guilty of 23 separate U-turns in just 6 months. Is this an embarrassing expose or frivolous politics at a time when the Congress needs to take serious steps to recover the ground it's lost? That's the first debate tonight.
हर इशू पे यू टर्न जो भी कहा वो नहीं किया.
What it calls as a U-turn today is actually a E-turn for India.
And joining me now to present the Congress case against the government is former Corporate Affairs Minister and now President of the Congress Party in Rajasthan, Sachin Pilot, and to defend the government, the BJP Prabhari in charge of West Bengal, Siddharth Singh. Sachin Pilot, yesterday your party released a booklet called 6 Mahine Par U-Turn Sarkar, giving details of what you call flip-flops and contradictions by the BJP between what it said when it was in opposition and what it's saying and doing now that it's in government. Is this a serious attempt to dent the goodwill and trust the country has in the new government, or are you just having a little bit of fun?
I think it's a very serious issue, Karan, because I think the job of the principal opposition party is to make sure that the government of the day performs its duties, and not only that, the kinds of promises that were made. I recall with complete clarity the speeches made by BJP leaders, including the now Prime Minister, on issues of black money, on issues of border disputes with China, with Bangladesh. 28 people have died on the Pakistan border in the last 6 months. Now, these are all things that we were told will be done swiftly and will be done without any compromise. 6 months have gone by. I think it's not only correct on our part as the Congress party, but the nation too wants to know that what happened to all the promises that you made.
Okay.
And once you make a promise to occupy the chair of government and then not to be able to deliver, somebody has to ask the tough questions. And I'm glad that the Congress party is asking those tough questions to the government.
Let's then come, Siddharth Singh, to some of the critical contradictions. I'm not going to go through all of them, but I want to pick 3 or 4 of the very important ones. First, black money. On the 17th of April 2014, Rajnath Singh said all the black money stashed abroad would be brought back in 100 days. He knew this was a promise he couldn't meet, but he went ahead and made it. Then, on 2 separate occasions, Mr. Modi said that when the money is brought back, each Indian would get 3 lakhs each. Then, separately, he said they'll get between 15 and 20 lakhs each. But on the 2nd of November, on Man Ki Baat, Mr. Modi said that no one has any idea. He, in particular, has no idea of how much money there is. In which case, when he promises everyone 3 lakhs or 15 and 20, he's clearly misleading. Aren't these 2 examples proof that your senior leaders knowingly made false promises and misled the voter?
Well, Karan, I won't say that 1 + 1 makes 2, that kind of a politics should be played. But I accuse Congress and they accuse me, and then we get into a debate. But I do remember lot of years back, when Indira Gandhi was there, and she as the Prime Minister said that I am going to remove Garibi. Log kehte hain, Indira hatao, main kehti hu Garibi hatao. God knows when the Garibi hati hai ya nahi hati hai. I think it's a second generation or third generation of Congress. They're still fighting to remove poverty from this country. So I don't think during the elections, yes, we should be serious, but I don't think, as far as the BJP manifesto is concerned, we talked about black money and we still maintain that, and that is what the Prime Minister had said.
Okay.
And let me list quickly few things. And my good friend should answer also. Since 2011, an SIT by the Supreme Court order was to be made. But you refused to do it. Why you did? No, we did it immediately. SIT was formed.
Can I stop
we
you
sent
there?
a delegation, the Revenue Secretary.
Can I stop you there? I want Sachin to first answer the good point you made about Indira Gandhi. Then I'll come back to talk about the good work you've done. Sachin Pilot, the truth is that promises made during the elections are always exaggerated. Every party offers the moon. And you have a very good example. In 71, Indira Gandhi won an election promising Garibi would be removed. It clearly hasn't been. Now, you're not going to turn around and tell me that Indira Gandhi was also misleading the country, was she?
This argument is absolutely absurd because nobody asked the BJP to give numbers. They said 6 lakh crores of black money is outside in 100 days. I mean, it is clear as day in everyone's mind that they said in 100 days we'll bring this money back. 15 lakh rupees per family. Nobody cajoled them to say that. Now, you say India is a better place, we want to preserve humanity, we want to save the kids, we want to have no poverty in this country. But to say 15 lakhs per family in 100 days, now that's a commitment you make to this nation. And 6 months have gone by forming an SIT, talking to the other countries, changing laws, etc. But where is the delivery of that promise?
Okay.
And the U-turns, the kinds of speeches made by the BJP leaders in election campaign are amazing. If you replay those speeches today, I don't know how anybody from the BJP can defend those statements. I mean, you talk about the border disputes with China, with
we come to China.
Now they agreed to do that. But anyway, the black money issue, Karan, my only point is that 6 lakh, my point is, if the same gentleman knew it's 6 lakh crores on day one, how can on day 180 you say, I don't know how much money there is and I don't know when I'll get it back? But then why overcommit? Why make a false promise?
All right, let's move to another aspect of the black money debate. Let's not get hooked on 100 days and 3 lakhs or 15 lakhs. Siddharth Nath Singh, a more substantial flip-flop is the following one. On the 18th of January 2011, Ravi Shankar Prasad, a former law minister, mind you, said the government's argument that it can reveal the names to the Supreme Court but not to the public due to double taxation is baseless. Today, that is the precise argument being presented by Arun Jaitley. And I put it to you that when Ravi Shankar claimed that this was baseless, he actually knew it was the truth. He's far too good a lawyer not to have known that. So he was either deliberately speaking rubbish or he was doing it because he wanted to hoodwink and fool the Indian people. That's another one of those flip-flops.
Karan, let me say that. Well, firstly, 100 days, I think Sachin needs to go back to 2009 Congress manifesto when then the Prime Minister had spoken also about 100 days. Sachin, 1,725 days passed, you didn't move on that. But now coming on what you have asked, Karan, let me say the double taxation treaty was a bad law, but you need to honor that. But what we tried to say, and we didn't go into the specifics, was that under the DTAA, you can still negotiate, which we have done when the Revenue Secretary went to Switzerland and negotiated on four points, and one of them is a major point, that if you investigate and you are able to corroborate as an evidence, then even the names in the HSBC list will be produced and we'll honor. Second was, we will even authenticate if you have a prima facie. These were out of 4 points, these are two important points.
Okay.
So under DTAA, if the government wanted, you could have moved forward. Unfortunately, the Congress didn't want to do anything on it. So that was the basic explanation, that you cannot hide under the DTAA. But yes, it was a bad law signed in 1995 by the Congress. Unfortunately, as a government of India, as a sovereign government, you need to honor them.
There are actually several DTAAs signed by Mr. Vajpayee when he was Prime Minister as well. They have exactly the same terms, but leave that aside. So, other key point, Sachin Pilot, is this. The BJP claims that in 100 days or 180 days, they've done more to bring black money back than your government did in 10 years. And that's really true. You people sat on an SIT for 3 years. You actually wanted to petition the Supreme Court to withdraw the order. Mr. Modi passed it within 24 hours of coming into government. And secondly, he's achieved agreements with Switzerland, which you've just heard Siddharth Nath Singh specify, which are considerably further than anything you achieved. So you have to accept, even if you quarrel about their overblown promises, that in terms of delivery, they've delivered more than you did in 10 years.
Did the BJP say that we will amend the law in 100 days? Did the BJP say that we'll change the DTEA AA treaties? Did the BJP say that we'll talk to sovereign nations? They said we'll bring black money back in 100 days. And I feel, Karan, that it's not my good friend Siddharth who should be sitting and answering questions. The same guys who made those statements, they are now ministers. They must come and answer, because once in opposition, you say whatever you want to get people to come and applaud you and vote for you. But when you occupy the chair of a minister in the government, that's when you realize there are things that you have to do through due process. So whether to say it is Mr. Pranab Mukherjee's finance minister who got those lists out, the names are given to the courts, etc. But this vast reservoir of knowledge that now Siddharth Singh ji and BJP people have today about law and judiciary and bilateral treaties, all this knowledge existed 6 months ago.
Okay.
When they were saying on every rooftop that 100 days money will be given, 15 lakh bank account khate mein jama kara denge hum. I mean, that sort of bravado. Today, now the nuts and bolts of the law are in front of them. They know that how difficult it is or not possible to do it. But then why do that? That's the thing. Indian politics. हमारी बात कर 95 में हमने DT साइन किया था. हम तो चुनाव हार गए. Let's say we lost the election. But when you come to power with a brute majority, when you can make the law whenever you want, this massive mandate, the expectation level is so high because you overpromise, you overcommitted, you show them the moon. आप इनसे बोलो चांद पे खेती करनी, they'll say, हाँ, we'll do it to win elections.
Gentlemen,
but reality is now ahead of us.
Let's move beyond black money. I want to move beyond black money, Mr. Satnam Singh, because that's not the only thing. I want to come to what is perhaps a more important flip-flop to do with, in fact, a policy issue. Right through the UPA years, your party was completely against increasing FDI in insurance to 49%. You repeatedly said it would not be in the interest of the country. Today, you're saying increasing FDI in insurance to 49% is a critical policy. You're saying the economy's future depends upon it. You've done a complete flip-flop. In which case, why did you hold up UPA?
Well, I think, Karan, let me remind that on 7th August 2013, BJP was definitely not in government, and I will quote, there are a number of newspapers who have said on this date, and I'm going to use one of them, which is rediff.com, and where the caption was, reasons behind BJP's puzzling about U-turn. I don't think, Karan, that we were in government, we had certain issues, and the issues related to the insurance, where it was on the whether 26% voting right would be given to the foreigners or not. If you go to the 49%, whether there will be an FIBP approval or not, there were certain conditions. They were all addressed in the standing committee. Please, Sachin, I think you were in the government, but let me clarify them. And these clauses got, you agreed to it, and then during the September or whenever the date, we agreed to it, and it was the TMC which walked away, and you couldn't bring this
This evening, you have agreed to precisely what the Congress wanted to do. Exactly, almost word for word. And what I'm saying to you is, if suddenly today in office it becomes so important for the economy, how come it wasn't important for the economy when UPA wanted to do it? This flip-flop simply shows that you allowed
exactly
political expediency rather than principle to judge.
We agreed in August 2013, and that is what the newspapers were reporting. Why this BJP has taken a U-turn?
You didn't agree. Sushma Swaraj categorically told Mr. Chidambaram that the BJP did not have an appetite to help in this matter. He's gone on record on this program saying so. But Sachin Pilot, the interesting thing is on insurance, your party is doing flip-flops as well. You're no better. After demanding BJP support and help to push through to 49% when you were in power, now that the BJP wants to do the same thing, you insisted the bill go to the select committee. Why? Because you wanted to pay the BJP back in the same coin. So suddenly you too are being expedient and opportunistic. You're flip-flopping as much yourself as they are on this issue.
Not at all. I think the Congress party and our government in UPA were completely clear on what we want to do on this particular issue. The normal procedure in Parliament is when the bill is tabled, it goes to select committee most of the times. It's gone to the committee, and I think now in a day or two, everything will be sorted out. But the point really is that how a party in opposition, which is the BJP, changes its stance on very important issues just as when it occupies positions of power. But the more political issue,
I'm saying you're doing the same thing on insurance today yourself by pushing the bill to the select committee. You were being opportunistic too.
We are going to help the government. We are going to make sure that our stand becomes clear. We'll be a constructive, positive role to play. We're not here to stop, block and destruct the bills and legislation.
Let's come, Mr. Siddharth Singh, to a third area of very considerable so-called flip-flop. I'm talking of your stand on the land boundary agreement with Bangladesh. Right through the UPA years, you blocked it on the grounds that it wasn't in India's interest. Then, over the weekend, Mr. Modi goes to Assam and says that actually this particular measure is in Assam's interest, it's going to help contain illegal immigration, and he's now all for it. This is a very convenient change of position.
No, again, let's, you know, lots been quoted about Mr. Jaitley's letter. Let me put, he had raised as a lawyer, as a constitutional expert, certain thing whether the parliament can legislate, which was not allowed. That cannot be construed that the BJP or Mr. Jaitley was objecting. He was talking about a legislation or whether the powers are there or it's the right way to go about it. Now, let me come because I am involved. I was also part of the discussion.
Speeches was against the land boundary agreement. Mr. Modi himself said it was not in the country's interest.
No. Karan, please allow me. This is a very serious question which you have asked, and let me clarify because it relates to West Bengal and I know about it.
Go ahead.
No, I have not changed. There is a Teesta water on it related to it. There is a land which is the enclaves, there's nothing to do with the enclaves. We were talking during the Congress time and we had put a paper also to them when they had come to discuss. No answers were given by the Ministry of External Affairs. They related to the rights of the Indians who are in the Bangladeshi enclave.
Don't blind me with detail. Your party is now going to push the bill presented in Parliament by Congress. It's the same bill you're going to push and present. There's no difference. So whatever you're saying is irrelevant to what you're going to do.
No. I'm sorry. You see the standing committee, what has been passed by Shashi Tharoor. There are specific clauses and they have addressed those issues which we were raising then.
All right. If you insist, I'll accept your word for it. Sachin Pilot, the truth is that your party is equally guilty of changing positions, particularly if you look at how your views changed from your position pre-2004 to your position after 2004. Pre-2004, you were against FDI in retail. Dr. Manmohan Singh was writing letters objecting when he thought BJP was going to push it through. Post-2004, you were miraculously in favor of FDI in retail. And similarly, over insurance. Pre-2004, you were against raising it to 49. BJP wanted to raise it. You objected and didn't let them. Post-2004, the BJP position became your position. And what this proves is that political consistency is not a virtue for Congress. You're not embarrassed by flip-flops, just as they are not embarrassed.
Let me clarify. Stop going on about it. In 2004, when you formed the government, the FDI and no, because the FDI and retail is a very, it's not as simple as it sounds. When the Congress government was there in UPA, the law, the FDI and retail is an enabling legislation. It was meant for cities of certain size and it is not imposed on anybody. You can choose to have the option, and we had certain additionalities such as some percentage has to be made in India, local sourcing, small vendors, domestic manufacturing must be given a fillip. We added all those things to make FDI a viable option for large cities if you want to.
Even go so far. You wrote him letters to say you objected before he could even bring a bill to Parliament.
This was a FDI and retail is now an enabling legislation. Any state government or a city that wants to have can have it. It is not forced upon anybody. So there's no question of Congress party changing its stance. And this is 2004. We're talking 11 years down the line. But more important is what was the BJP stand, 181 days ago. Forget about 11 or 12 years ago. A decade is a long time. But 6 months to change a political stand of a party. And by the way, for the land swap, let me current for the land swap.
It's just that people have forgotten 2004.
For the land swap, no less than the then NSA had gone to the top BJP leaders to explain the government's position. They were saying we cannot politically do it, doesn't suit them because of electoral politics. But today when they are in government, they understand there are commitments, there are certain resolutions that need to be done, there's diplomacy, there's bilateral relationships, the importance of neighborhood countries, etc. All that wisdom dawns upon people, or it's politically more palatable when you're in government. But to make a song and dance when in opposition is something what the BJP has done.
I take your point. point. Let's pull out of the actual specific details of the flip-flop. I want to pull out of the details. Let me put this to you, Mr. Ratnam Singh.
Sachin, you could not convince your own alliance, that is Mamata Banerjee, and you're raising fingers on the BJP.
Well, no, let's pull out of the tutu meme. I want to put something to both of you at a slightly wider, higher level. The truth is, and I'm addressing this to you, Mr. Ratnam Singh, that what the Congress booklet has brought out very clearly is that in opposition, sometimes the BJP didn't know what it was talking about. Sometimes it was actually being irresponsible in the statements it's made. And sometimes it was just misleading people with false promises. Sadly, your past is coming back to haunt you today. And because that past was just 6 months ago, it's really very embarrassing.
Well, I don't think so, Karan, that it is anything too embarrassing, because the U-turns are actually all positive turns, and I say so positive because what was before the election the issues on the economic revival, which we have started doing it, where it was on bringing the inflation, we have started doing it, and the inflation has come down. We had to take the gloom to a at least a hope or something better into a bloom. We are doing it. So all these things were more important. As far as the relationship with China is concerned, it was important. Whether the relationship in the international community world, it is important. We have done that, and we have brought India into a focus globally, where the world is looking at India and they want to come back and invest into India.
You began that answer with very memorable, telling words. The U-turns were on a positive issue. In other words, you concede their U-turns. All you're saying is that they were positive. And what that means is, that by taking Congress positions, you've become positive. Your original positions were negative. I applaud you for that. Thank you very much. Let me come back to you, Sachin. Sachin, don't smile. Let me come back to you and put this to you. At this moment, you're reduced to 44 seats in the Lok Sabha. You're pushed to third position in Haryana and Punjab. By some counts, by 2016, you'll be controlling less than half the number of state governments BJP controls. Now, from that predicament, is your political strategy to build yourself back this booklet, which simply scores petty political, polemical points? Do you not need to be more serious about your strategy? Because you're not showing it. The country will laugh with you at BJP's embarrassment, no doubt about it. You've given us great entertainment, but this is not going to establish the grassroots you need to get back to power.
There are two different things, Karan. It's not an either-or situation. I think it's incumbent upon us to bring out the follies and the false promises the BJP made before coming to power. At the same time, we have to rebuild and strengthen our party. So it's not that either can exist in separation. We have to do both things. We have a political responsibility.
You're not doing the second, which is more important. That's the point I'm making.
We are. You rest assured, Karan Thaparji, you rest assured, the Congress party will come back with double the strength, a fighting force that has to be reckoned with. And the BJP is trying to convince people it's invincible, it's unbeatable, and that you'll see in the next few months, and as time goes by, reality will sink in. So this whole euphoria and this media campaign can't sustain forever.
Very quickly, Mr. Sarkar Singh, in 30 seconds, does your party owe an explanation for the contradictions and, more importantly, for the grand but misleading promises that built up expectations that you can't deliver on? Do you owe an explanation? I'm not asking for an apology, just an explanation.
No, we don't own our act. No, we don't owe any explanation. Our actions are already speaking. We have what we promised, including what we had said on the economy. That is being we had promised economy will be brought on track, inflation will be brought back, investment will be brought in. We have done everything. And the U-turns are of all what the Congress had done, and they have brought us into that dilemma. It is all passed by them. We are helping the government and the country to come out of it.
My thanks to both of you for joining me for a fascinating debate.